Hey guys, Cole here. Having an afternoon walk, and I kind of just wanted to talk about 5 tips that I think are a great idea and what really helped me out on my fast days. So let's get into it. All right, so tip number 1. Tip number 1 is going to sound very cliche, and I'm sure you've heard it about 1,000 times, but drinking plenty of water. This is really key for keeping off the hunger pangs, especially during your regular meal times. So, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you start to feel really hungry, drink some water. Like I said, I know it sounds cliche, but it'll really help kind of fight off that really strong hunger pang, and you'll realize you can get through it. So that's tip number 1. All right, so tip number 2, stay busy. Don't have an idle mind. Don't sit around thinking about food all day. It's not going to help. Stay busy as much as you can. Go for a walk like I am today. It's dinner time. I'm on the end of a fast day now, so I'm about 22 hours in. Just go for a walk. Do something to keep your mind busy, so you're not thinking about food, especially during meal times. It really helps. So that's tip number 2, keep busy. Okay, so tip number 3, this is kind of a big one for me, and that is to remember why you're doing this in the first place. Everyone has their reasons. For me personally, I really want to stay healthy, or really get healthy for my family. I'm married, I have 2 boys, and that's really kind of my biggest motivator. Second, I'm tired of just being overweight. I've been overweight my whole life. Always been a big kid, growing up through high school, young adult. I've always been the big guy, and I'm tired of being that. So, tip number 3, remember why you're doing this. If you start to feel down, lose motivation, go back, think about why you're actually doing what you're doing. All right, so tip number 4, track your progress. And by track your progress, I don't mean step on the scale every single day, because that's not going to do anything but decrease your motivation. Use the scale, yes, a couple times a week. That's what I prefer to do. But also take pictures. Tracking your progress, being able to go back and look, a previous month to see where you were and where you are now can be a really big motivation when you're struggling. Something else that kind of goes along with that, don't be discouraged about the scale thing. If you don't see a change immediately, sometimes you're not going to see a change. Let me put it that way. The scale may stay exactly the same after a week. It happens, especially when you're doing a protocol like I'm doing, an alternate day fasting protocol. If you want to know more about that, check my previous videos. I kind of go into a little bit more detail. But don't get discouraged if the scale doesn't move how you think it should. Things happen. You retain water sometimes. You're not going to plateau after just 1 week. So give it some more time. Be patient. Stay with your protocol. Be consistent. And you're going to see movement eventually. Usually after a couple weeks. I've ran into this before when I did alternate day fasting before. There'd be a week where I don't move at all, but I can take a picture and go back and look, and sure enough, you can see a little bit of difference. Maybe not much, but you can see something. So don't live and die by the scale. It can be tricky sometimes. Just watch out for it. All right, tip number 5. This one's kind of a big one for me, but that's to have a plan for your eat day. For me, especially at nights, a lot of times we're having a good meal at home. Everything looks great and I want to break my fast early. But having a plan, knowing that I can, take it for lunch the next day, really helps out. I'm able to plan out breakfast, lunch, and dinner, really get to look forward to what I'm going to be having for the next day. And that's a big motivator for me too. So definitely try and have a plan. It even helps, if you're bored on your fast day, go ahead and try and get something together so you know what you're going to do on your feast day. This also helps me to kind of stay away from a lot of the junk food, the chips, the snacks, the ice cream. If I have a good plan, typically I'll avoid that kind of thing. So that's tip number 5, have a good plan. All right, I got a little bonus tip for you. This one is to know what your triggers are. For me, I have several, and let me clarify. By your triggers, I mean, know what's gonna cause you or tempt you to wanna break your fast or mess up your protocol early. For me, the number one thing is gonna be staying up late. I tend to have a problem with staying up late. I like some me time at the end of the day after the kids go to bed. And, whether that's just staying up to watch TV or YouTube or play some video games, that's when I want to have a snack. So I watch out for that. Another one of my big triggers is going to be carbs on my eat day. This one's really tough for me too. But if I have a lot of carbs on the day that I eat, the next fast day is going to be way worse. I don't know what it is about it, but having a high carb diet on my eat day really makes the fast day a lot harder than it typically is. So that's something else I watch out for. I think I want to go into a little bit more depth on that too. Maybe in my next video that's not my weekly check-in, we'll go into that. Leave a comment if that's something you want to see. But that's pretty much it. That's the 5 tips plus the bonus tip to really lock in, stay on schedule, and know what you're going to be doing on your fast days. Stick to it, curb the hunger, and it works, I promise. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next one.